y'all? We got game 3 underway between Immortals and 100 Thieves. It's Rafa and Azael on the cast. We actually have a little special stuff going on. We have Jatt as our chat ambassador. He's going to be popping in and out throughout the cast.
You know, if you're watching football, there's like a sideline correspondent.
Yeah.
That is me, except the sideline is the internet. So I'm in Twitch chat. I'm in the Reddit thread. I'm watching Twitter. I'm on Slack. I'm just gonna be there. So I'm over here. You guys cast. When I find something interesting or chat comes up with something brilliant,
if you got something interesting,
I'll let you know.
They should be tweeting at you. They should be sending it to Jatt.
I'm gonna be really busy.
Send it to Jatt's DMs. You might even
be good in chat though, because he's watching. He can ban you.
I am.
I assume he has admin. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't
I
have
hope
those
I do,
powers.
man. I really hope I do.
Let's find out.
You never know.
Can you ban someone? Just give someone a 10-minute, you know?
Yeah, I'll see.
See if you have the power.
If you're in chat right now, say hi, Jatt, you know? And
yeah. The first person that says something mean, I'm going to ban to see if I have it.
It won't take long, no chat.
Draft is underway. Let's keep charge of the picks right now. Senna first pick for Immortals so far. We already saw that was part of the winning combination in their win yesterday. 100 Thieves, though. Couple potential answers here. Karma's already been banned, taken off the table. Something maybe like a priority pick for the spot lane 100 Thieves. Or, of course, the Udyr is left open, and we see how many times that you want to go to that if you're on.
I mean, this is just ridiculously popular as a pick these days. It is going to be Orianna grabbed up here for Quid, though. The the Senna really does enable a lot of these picks, though, down in the bottom lane. We've been seeing Senna TK. We've obviously seen Senna Seraphine in the past when you can do the double support items, but you can just play standard ADs with it as well, so there is a lot of flexibility. I also think there's a lot of less explored melee options that can pair with it. You know, besides just the TK, I've seen Maokai, I've seen Cho'Gath, I've seen Zac even doing pretty well these days down with it. So I think there's a lot of different options you do have. And something I will say I did not expect is that whoever wins this game is going to be tied with Cloud9 in the standings, which is kind of crazy to think. You know, Immortals were power ranked aggregate 8th out of 8 teams. Cloud9 was power ranked 1st. They could be tied here, and that would be shocking after 6 games, because that is a significant amount of the split down. We are only, you know, 1 game just tomorrow away from being done this first round robin. Immortals might even end up tied, might even end up ahead.
I mean, the Scrimbucks might just be coming true for some of these matches here.
Cloud9 had the most Scrimbucks, though. Their Scrimbucks, apparently, they got paid in faulty coins or something, man.
I mean, not every Team Scrimbucks has come up true, but some Team Scrimbucks that we were not giving credit for are now starting to, you know, bite us in the face a bit. As Immortals clean up this draft, Jayce and Tahm Kench rounding out. That is the very common Senna TK pairing there in the bot lane, whereas 100 Thieves might just be wrapping up this Aphelios spot lane with something that can combat the sustained power that a Senna TK can have to really endure that laning phase.
Yeah, it is interesting. So they're going to be going with Milio, so obviously not really any engage drafted up for either side just yet. We do have Senna TK, as you said, but Mask, really well known actually for his Jayce. I've been hearing a lot of people talking about his Jayce as potentially his best pick, something that he's really comfortable on, that he can play very aggressively on, so it'll be interesting to see how he does. We do have a lot of scaling over on the 100 Thieves side. Good scaling, though, on Immortals as well. And I'm kind of interested to see, you know, with this Jayce, are they going to try to pair it with some more poke type options? Are they going to get something that is more kind of non-committal? Or is it going to be, you know, more just kind of standard bruiser top, engaged jungler to round out their composition?
And something for Immortals to consider is we already have a ton of physical damage that you're already alleviated to, so some form of magic damage has to come through just to make sure that the composition feels balanced out and there's nothing that 100 Thieves can counter with on a tank matchup on the other side of the map. Armao has been one that usually has gone to things like the Lilia, which 100 Thieves have already banned out. The Maokai is also common pairing with the Jayce. Trying to think of other AP pairings. We saw Inspired pulled out the brand earlier today.
I mean, there's a lot of good AP junglers right now. I mean, I do think that you have a lot of options, actually. You can even go towards things like Evelynn if you're comfortable on it. I think Evelynn's actually quite strong. Obviously, we have seen some of the more standard ones, like the Lilia, like the brand, really, really common this batch. I've seen Diana been played a little bit. I've seen some people starting to pick up Karthus again. So I do think that there's tons of options if you're looking for an AP jungler, but I don't think you're locked into that. They definitely want AP somewhere, especially if there is going to be, you know, a blind tank top or something like that from 100 Thieves. But at the same time, if there's no true tank locked in for 100 Thieves, I don't really think you care about doing full physical. I think it's much easier to abuse a full magic damage comp because there's such good anti-magic damage itemization these days. Like King of Croker and everyone is talking about, but it's very easy to pick up a Maw and things like that. Whereas, you know, someone grabbing a Death Dance or whatever, it doesn't feel like it really kind of counters you. You can be a bit more efficient, but it's not that big a deal.
I got a question for you guys because I've been following along with the channel point predictions.
Sure.
What do you think it started at before the first phase of the draft, and what do you think it's at now?
Well, I think people usually do the predictions based on popularity, so I think it would be heavily 100 Thieves favored. And you said it's switched, so now I think it's switching to Immortals.
Yeah, you're completely wrong.
Am I?
Yeah, Immortals started as the channel point leader for predictions, and now it's 100 Thieves based on Aphelios, Orianna, Milio.
Oh, it's actually pretty close.
Oh, it's really close. It's been around 50% the whole time.
That's interesting. Yeah, I would have thought the 100 Thieves would have had that edge in the fan vote.
Yeah.
It is going to be Cassante potentially locked in here. So with Cassante getting locked in, I definitely think you want some sort of AP. I do think you are potentially worried now about that full physical damage comp. Jayce and Senna are also not tank killers, so you need some sort of high DPS. Even if you want to go physical, you want to be, you know, something that is high damage, like a Kindred type champion, something that is going to be able to make that happen.
Yeah.
But then you're very light on engage, so I do think it's going to be Castle that's going to have to bring something that can really kind of try to punch through this top lane, and we'll see if Armao is just going to be bringing the engage, which is kind of what I'm expecting.
Yeah, the Udyr was left open. I'm not going to fall for the bait now.
I mean, this could be jungle, it could be top.
Yeah, and it's still a flex option.
Exactly. And the other thing is, because you have full physical so far, you could lean more heavily into the AP variants. In competitive, I've mostly just been seeing people still go like Sunfire into Spirit Visage and things like that. But I don't think there's anything wrong with grabbing a Liandry's early on, you know, grabbing just some sort of magic damage. It's the same principle to how people played Maokai jungle when they were with full physical comps. They would just splash in some more AP, get some more value from that. You're not going to force people to build MR as a Zac, probably not.
Yeah.
But you can at least get a little bit of AP, you know, have that mixed damage threat. I do still think Cassante is going to be very difficult to deal with, but you've got the Rell, so that's the engage alongside that Zac. It's going to be about protecting the Senna, protecting this Jayce, and we'll see how well they can deal with that front line. They do have a lot of peel, and they do have a lot of engage. On the other side, they're very light on engage so far. The Poppy is going to get locked in. It's still not one of those things you'd look at as primary engage, but it answers very well some of these picks. You're looking at the Rell, you're looking at the Zac, even if the Jayce ever wants to go melee form to the skies, those are all super easy to interrupt. So Zac cannot be looking for these, you know, max range E's. You got to be getting in the mix, looking for more surprising angles, looking for Q stuns.
I want to do a Twitch poll for who won the draft because the channel point predictions are heavily in favor of 100 Thieves. It's like almost 60-40 now. But Azael, I want to know who you think won the draft, and then I'll tell you if Twitch thinks you're wrong or not later.
I think the 100 Thieves won the draft. I think that they have really good disengage, and I think that with Immortals comp, they're kind of forced to engage into you. Poppy, as well as Milio, really good at absorbing the engage and turning things around. Orianna, hard to engage into as well. The advantage on the Immortal side, I would say, is the range with the Jayce and the Senna, but I still prefer what 100 Thieves has.
The big focus that we were looking at before this match started was tracking how well Castle and Sniper are two of our rookies coming into the 2024 season. Obviously, Castle coming in as an import for Immortals that they scouted, and 100 Thieves Sniper, this is the player that we've been all hyped up about ever since he first hit Challenger when he was super young and just growing within the 100 Thieves infrastructure. Reflected in the draft, they saved their picks until almost the very end, towards the 4th pick. They decided, all right, Sniper, you're going to have to blind the Cassante, see what you're going to be able to do, and Castle with this answer of a Zac top.
Yeah, and Azael, you're lucky this time. Chat agrees with you, 74%.
Thank you, chat. I appreciate it. The geniuses in chat always going to agree.
Wisdom of the crowd is very accurate.
True.
So I think Twitch polls are actually way more correct than people think.
Yeah, they're actually pretty solid. I mean,
guys,
usually
let's
when we
not
have the
glaze
prediction
chat
things,
too much. We can't give them too much.
when we have
power.
the prediction stuff where we track the fan predictions, they usually actually do pretty damn well. So respect all the geniuses in chat. We already know it's only Challenger players watching the LCS there in chat. It's thousands upon thousands of Challenger
Chat
players.
leaning back in their armchairs like, yes, Azael, blaze us more. Give us the power.
If they're not Challenger, it's only because of their teammates.
True. That I resonate.
Exactly. Just like me playing with you.
Wow! All right. You want to take over? I'm gonna.
Yeah, sure. I can play with play. No problem.
Oh my God! He's taking my job too. Oh no! All right. Well, we're into game 3, y'all. And if you've been missing out, 100 Thieves and Immortals, whoever wins this game will be tied with Cloud9 in the standings.
Oh.
So here's the good news.
Okay.
What's up?
I'm still fully engrossed in content.
Hell
because I have a second screen experience with chat. I have some fun facts from our stats guy.
Okay.
This is the first Zac top since 2020 spring. Can you guess who played it?
2020 spring.
Yeah.
Ooh.
This was actually pretty infamous. It led to the fall of one of the great LCS teams of all time.
2020 spring. Was that the year that Cloud9 did really well in spring and then fell off in summer?
Yes, it is. That is the
Then it
year.
would have been Fudge, right?
No, Licorice.
No.
Oh, it was Licorice.
No.
Oh.
Think of the team that
Impact.
won a lot before. There we go.
It was Impact.
Oh.
Team Liquid pulled out Zac top randomly in a game, lost terribly, and they missed playoffs.
I got baited because
They
you
missed
said
playoffs.
Cloud9. I was like, okay, Cloud9 top laner. But Team Liquid, yeah. That was right after the back-to-back period.
Yep, it's the post Doublelift era. You can tell which is the Doublelift era because they won all their titles, and then the post Doublelift era where they never won again. It's two very easy distinctions.
How many teams is that true for?
Probably a lot.
Basically,
Well, CLG never won post Doublelift, right?
yeah, unless you
Or
count
no,
energy,
they did.
which
They
don't
did. They
count.
won with 6A.
Yeah.
And
They won with
6A,
6A, so they
immediately
did.
after.
So TSM, did TSM win without him? They did. TSM won without him afterwards, right?
They won with Turtle once.
Yeah,
Yeah.
afterwards.
But then when he rejoined, they won again, and then they
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Anyway, we're back in the game. Congratulations.
We are in a game. Immortals looking for a little bit of an invade there. It's going to be a fun one to watch. I'm pretty excited to see how they're going to be able to actually perform. I do think there's a lot of pressure on both Mask and Tactical to have good games here. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of armor stacking from the Poppy as well as the Cassante, so 2 tanks were drafted there at the end, and it's going to be their job to try to punch through it. I'm also kind of interested, as a result, will Tactical go on hit? Like, you basically only see lethality, especially when you are that kind of fasting Senna, as we're going to call it these days.
Yeah.
But, I do wonder, in this case, would he consider something like a Kraken, a higher on-hit damage build? Because someone has to be able to deal with the Poppy and the Cassante. Even if Zac is dealing a fair bit of magic damage, Zac is not a tank killer, so to speak. Like, you have some pretty decent sustained damage, especially if you do go Leandra's Riftmaker and those kind of AP builds, but you're not really threatening the front line.
Also, Twitch chat told me that Zac was played by Broken Blade earlier today. And then even earlier today, it was played by Zeus.
Caps also
And even
played
earlier
away.
before that, it was Driver in the PCS. So it's actually been played. This is the 5th time today it's been played. That's crazy.
Zac is really strong
Yeah.
as a solo laner. I think he's decent in jungle. I think he's incredibly strong mid and top actually right now, especially in solo queue. The amount of sustain that you have is really, really difficult to actually push you out.
Yeah.
It is very tough, especially when you are playing a tank into him. It's not fun at all because you just can't really win the trades. As long as you're actually hitting those abilities, you just keep picking up your blobs. You kind of out-sustain everything, and we're seeing this. Like, look at Sniper on this first wave, already losing about a 40-50% of his health.
And it's not like Zac got major buffs or changes recently. He's relatively the same champion as of last year. I remember around last split, I think we were talking to Whippo one of the times he was here on the broadcast, and I was just kind of like, shooting the stuff with him and saying like, hey, what champions do you think are super underrated right now? And he's like, Zac. No one is picking Zac right now. It can be flexed in multiple roles, and sometimes you just have to wait and see other people start playing it, and then it catches on.
I want to ask Azael another question, and he needs to go up against chat. Which team is going to get first blood?
Which team is going to get first blood? Oh, River's team, man.
100 Thieves, yeah.
100 Thieves.
There's stats to back this up.
It's a River diff.
The lowest first blood percentage in the league is
Armao.
Immortals.
Yeah.
So, I mean, based
Armao
on the
has the
percentages,
lowest.
that's the right pick, but you never know. I hope chat goes the other way.
I mean, it's definitely possible. I know Armao is 8th out of 8 in K+A at 14, so he is very inactive. And that's been one of the criticisms towards him, I think, throughout his career, is that he is very farm heavy, but he struggles to find those windows to make ganks happen. This could be one of them potentially, though. We'll see if he can make something happen. But I mean, River has such a reputation amongst pros for being this creative player, for being this guy who's going to find that kind of oddball gank path and make things happen. Doesn't have the best setup in his lanes, I will say, for ganking. It feels like he's in more of kind of that counter ganking position this game.
Yeah.
Given that he is on the Poppy, but I still think I have faith in him to make something happen.
The other angle is to go for a super aggressive dive, right? You can play with flash. Most poppies are going to take hex flash as well. So if you lose the flash summoner spell early, it's not like you're completely out for multiple gank angles later on in the game. And if you have pushing lanes and 100 teams are continuing to try and just...
You can look for dives if you have pushing lanes, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I do think that's one of the strengths of the Poppy, right? You know, generally speaking, if it is in these open lanes, you kind of have to come from behind. But you can see nice defensive ward here. So it's on their own Raptors, expecting Poppy to be looking for it. Is one of those camps Poppy loves to take. You can clear through it very, very quickly with that AoE. So he is at least spotted out, and it's going to mean that Armao can go for the counter jungle, can answer this on the other side, take away the enemy Raptors. So it is just kind of tit for tat. There's a ward on both sides. There's a lot of coverage there around mid lane for Mask, knowing that he is going to be playing this Jayce, want to keep him farming. They had a ward on their own Raptors, a ward on the enemy Raptors, and a ward in the side brush. So clearly there's a pretty big focus on enabling these mid laners, keeping them safe. Both teams doing similar things, and clearly having the read that the only place that can really be attacked is mid lane. And with Armao here behind, Quid could be in trouble.
Even if Quid doesn't go down, you can always look for flash
Nice
for flash,
flash,
and that's
wow.
exactly what happens. But it was picture perfect from Quid to dodge that game.
Yeah, that was actually really fast from Quid, because for a lot of that, Armao was out of vision, and then it was a Q flash as soon as he is seen. So very quick stuff from Quid, respects the gank, gets out of there. On bot side, you can see Tactical and Olleh pushing this in. Most of this farm is actually all of that farm is all going to be lost. So Eyla's just going to go and see if he can actually delay the enemy recalls. Doesn't spot them in that brush, so we'll have to back off. Sniper trouble.
Let's bounce from Castle, but River is here to potentially punish. Castle still has flash to play with and his passive, so Castle isn't in any immediate danger, but he's forced to back off the wave.
Yeah, just kind of one of those coverage plays. Castle getting aggressive, hit 6 first before Sniper, just uses the ulti there immediately. And Armao now spotting River. These two may be running into each other. Pink is going to be lost there by River as he does place it down. Top lane going pretty well for Castle. He does have that early bomby and then did pick up a cloth armor. So we'll see if he is just going to be going Sunfire. That's kind of what I expect from him. You know, I did talk to him a little bit about Zac builds as well, and he kind of does feel like tank is the superior build, that the base damages are high enough that you don't need to build AP. Sure. I do think if there were a time to do it, it would be a game where your team is full physical and there's 2 tanks on the other side. But at the very least, I mean, Sniper rushed a Cowl. So, like, he's kind of putting the fear in him either way. You know, when it is Senna Jayce as those true damage dealers, still forcing out that Cowl is definitely good.
Potential all-in, but Olleh's Abyssal Dive is immediately answered by Meech's Flash. Now that is an AD carry without a summoner spell. Still has Ghost to play with, but can be exposed if Armao ever decides to float down towards the bot side. River was looking for a play on Mask, but he flashes the shockwave and he gets out alive.
So 100 Thieves won the poll by 1% for which team will give up first blood. So really close, but they again agree with Azael. And also, just like in case anything's happening, if there's ever anything
You're smart, chat.
If there's ever anything you guys want to know, I have the internet at my fingertips. So just ask me a question.
What is the meaning of life?
I can find an answer.
What's your confidence level going to be? You know,
low.
when you give us the
Wikipedia says to do good and to do the right thing.
Okay. Okay.
That's wholesome.
Do the right thing.
I like that.
Gank top for your top laner. You know? Win the LCS. That's doing good. We'll see which team is going to end up doing good in this one.
When I Google what is the meaning of life, League of Legends, it says unironically to struggle.
Accurate.
No pain, no gain.
We're all a little bit masochistic, you know, playing this game.
They're playing it since 2013, since beta.
Yeah. Definitely.
Chat says it's 42, so I got to throw that.
Ah, nice.
Yeah,
Good reference.
unanimously
Thank you.
42.
Thank you,
Hell
chat.
yeah.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, chat. 07. It's been a quiet early game so far from the looks of the scoreboard, but there's
Look
been
at the farm mid.
Yeah, many summoner spells blown, and my goodness, even with the pressure and
Yeah,
the
Quid
early
is kinda
class
stomping.
Quid, Quid is still putting the pressure down on Mask. All in from all out Sniper, and Castle still has Let's Bounce to be able to answer back with, and I mean, this just kind of happens with 2 tank top laners. You just kind of throw your spells and abilities, try to get that push war back in each other's favor, and everyone's still healthy on top of it.
Yep, looking not too bad, but at the end of the day, this is the thing with Zac, is that you have so much sustain. Sniper may have to actually back off after this. And, you know, you do know that you can get kind of worn down a lot more quickly. The damage is a lot higher than it is with some of those other tank tops. So Zac can definitely be threatening, and you can see Tactical moving around the map here a little bit, you know, helps out with the Dragon. He's helped out with some camps, trying to pick up as many souls as he can. Hasn't been super active in the bot lane, and it's not up against a melee support, which is generally a lot easier to farm souls off of. He is up against double range, so he does have 31 right now. Not bad, but nothing too crazy either. And first question answered, it is going to be lethality for Tactical regardless. So he's not going in towards Kraken. It's a lethality Jayce mid as well, and a tank Zac top. And mid lane is already way behind, you know, as we touched on. River gonna look.
Oh, but Mask buffered the hammer to punt River away, so he didn't get slammed into the turret. Nicely played by the Immortals mid laner.
Yeah, that was a really good E. Otherwise, he's just dead, and the poll would have been answered. But still, down 20 CS for Mask is a concern. Everyone hovering here around mid lane from Immortals, trying to bail Mask out, trying to get him to be able to reset this wave. As Tactical moves up, Armao moves up. 100 Thieves covering as well. Eyla and River are there to answer the pressure. But so far, it's really felt like this week the games have been a lot slower than the previous week, even though we are on the same patch. I'm not sure if that is people really feeling the pressure of realizing, hey, it is Super Week. So much of our season is actually going to rely on success in this one, or, you know, if it is kind of a development of the meta. But definitely we've had way more patience in the early game. Sometimes the team's detriment, you know, even looking at, you know, Cloud9, Blabber was very inactive in both the early games, you know, today and yesterday, and we've had a lot more of these kind of slow starters.
And it doesn't even seem like this game has been slow, because there has been a lot of action, but no one is willing to overextend for that last bit of lethality to close in on first blood. So we've gone 10 minutes with no kills. Objectives have been traded for the most part. First Dragon went over to Armao's side, and he's going to look to clean up this last grub.
Yep, 2 grubs went over to 100 Thieves for that first Dragon. Now Armao going to be able to grab this grub. They do have individual spawn timers, so you know, it will be a little bit kind of off kilter. We'll see if 100 Thieves can get enough to try to get towards that 5 mark. As Meech is going to be throwing the ulti down, mostly for poke, not really expecting to get a kill from that position, but very close to getting this first plate. And Castle now looking mid.
Oh boy.
Quid does have his flashback, but this 3-man squad could get this.
The Avengers are about to assemble here. Azael, here comes Castle over the wall, makes them kiss the mid lane. Quid just flashes away and avoids danger.
Yeah, nice little move though from Castle. As you can see, he's had push constantly in top lane, so he's just roaming down. He will lose a couple CS likely off this, but Tactical getting really low bot.
Olleh with the Abyssal Dive onto Meech, the flash forward so he can eat him up, but it's the Breath of Life that cleanses it. Meech almost low from the Dawning Shadow, is forced to run away with the Ghost. Meanwhile, we have a 2v2 scrap in the middle of the river. Eyla is still on the run and might just be run down. Olleh is going to look for the Abyssal Dive and tries to slow him down with a Tongue Lash if he can get it off.
Could be an execute, maybe.
The Blast Cone is going to keep him alive for now. It's not enough damage, but he just hit him, so even if he dies to this turret, it should go over to Olleh for the kill, and it surely does.
Yeah, a little bit slow there from Eyla. Felt like he could have got away. Quid now in trouble.
Armao with the Shattering Strike stun, instantly popped by Mass, shut down for Immortals.
And this is Armao, who's involved not in first blood, but is involved in a kill before River there.
The question was the team, so both Chat and Azael were like majority wrong. The 49% of people that said Immortals would get it are correct.
Well done.
So well done to 49%.
Well done.
Thank you for keeping track.
Yeah.
Chat says you're handsome. They keep spamming it. They need to stop Azael.
Oh, thank you. No, don't stop.
Guys, he's married. He's already taken.
You know what? Chat, you're handsome too. Let's spread the love. You gotta hype the homies up, you know?
You know what?
There's not enough bro love these days. The women have us beat, you know? Women are always hyping each other up. The homies gotta hype each other up too.
That's true. I like your fit today, Rafa.
Thank you.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, you look great today, Jatt.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No problem.
Immortals also looks great, don't
They
you think?
do.
Chat,
Yeah.
is Immortals a top 4 team?
That was a handsome first blood from Olleh.
That was a quite handsome first blood from Olleh.
What a tongue on that guy.
All right, we're just gonna speed right on past that one.
He's playing top Kench.
This is back to Flowers.
Let's lick in the bush all over again.
It's all lick in the bush all over again. Oh my goodness. Classic throwback. The Avenger squad are assembling once again, this time in the bottom lane. Here comes Castle. Tries to make them bounce again into multiple knockups, and that's Eyla going down. The teleport from Sniper comes in to alleviate pressure, but the damage has been done. They've already lost their support. And Immortals, they might look for more, but the Dragon is still up and available, and they might look to take that one next.
Yeah, they're going to be able to move over towards it. Castle really moving around the map well. Has had a big impact so far this game. You know, winning the top lane up against Sniper, making roams down towards mid, down towards bot as well. And he's doing it without actually expending the teleport, right? Sniper has to spend his teleport to get down there. Castle's still holding on to his, and he's just moving around here with Armao.
And they're hunting for Quid. He still doesn't have flash. Shockwave catches both of them up. River with the Keeper's Verdict knocks them up again. But Dawning Shadow is going to keep them away. Here comes Sniper, cleans up Armao, and now the rest of the kills. And Sniper takes Castle all out on the other side of the wall. Mask is locked up and he's in trouble. Castle tries to go in and save his mid laner. As Mask tries to go back in, they're looking for the killing blow on the Sniper, but he's too tanky! And the pass up from Castle.
What tactical?
Tactical comes in flash. They try to save him, but Castle does not live. 100 Thieves win this fight.
Oh my god, it's an absolute bloodbath there, though. This time, 100 Thieves coming out on top, getting so many kills as Armao and Castle were looking for Quid, but Quid just backsteps there and then lands a great shockwave, places the ball perfectly to catch both of them on the very edge. Followed up on by River, great ult, just a tap on the Poppy ult there to get the double knock up. Sniper arrives, he comes in through the back of them, gets that kill, goes all out, you know, pushing Castle off, trying to really section him out. And look at Quid here. He did such a good job of actually zoning out Tactical. Tactical is really their only main damage in this fight because Mask was, you know, kind of put into a bad spot. And he did such a good job of just kind of 1v2 zoning out that bot lane, keeping them from really going in. And that's why Tactical is in this position where he has to flash over the wall, tries to get the kill. He was hoping both to get the kill and to keep the Zac alive, to have those bloblets come back together to get the respawn, but we're back alive and we're back to fighting.
And River once more looking for Olleh. Doesn't have flash available, but he speeds on away. 100 Thieves are not done yet. They find the wall slam, looking for the damage. The shield keeps Olleh alive for a little bit, but the Abyssal dive gets interrupted. And 100 Thieves are able to take themselves another death.
Yep, another death there as Castle pushing up on the top side. Does go into the CDR boots. Very common. CDR really powerful there on the Zac. You want to be spamming out these abilities. And Armao going to be starting up the Herald. It is spotted with the blue trinket. You can see Tactical is moving up towards this top side to try to support this Herald take. And it's just going to be a trade as 100 Thieves largely down towards that bot side. They're trying to have Meech push up, see if he can actually knock down this turret, you know, get this Aphelios into a good spot. You know, really trying to put as much gold as possible into Quid, into Meech. They are the big hope for them this game.
Castle might be in trouble, doesn't have the passive this time. The shockwave pulls him back in, and River just slams it into the wall. And my goodness, that was terrifying as 100 Thieves just laid the pain train down on Castle.
It looks like Tactical's ult maybe came through a split second too late there as well. I'm not 100% sure if that Dawning Shadow shield actually came out on him or not, but 100 Thieves get a kill on Castle. He TP'd down, dies, and they're going to lose the tower. Solo gold on that turret will go over to Meech, so more gold for him. It is traded back, of course, on the other side, though. Mask shoving up through mid lane is going to be able to knock that down, and Armao trying to, again, look for these invades, but River's here. And he will get pushed out by Sniper and River.
You know, for the first 10 minutes of the game, no kills and everything seemed somewhat calm and dandy. And then the past 5 minutes just been kill, 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 kill. Everyone is just scrapping and throwing hands at each other. And I think it just comes back to the point that you were talking about, Azael. It's just like the game has been slower for the most part in LCS. And now in the mid game, everyone just comes alive.
Yeah, and this was kind of the anti-timing there. Castle had no vision on those other members. Right as he hops in, 3 other members show up, and you're kind of just like, well, unlucky. Did get a little bit aggressive there, was playing on the weak side of the map. Have to be careful in those situations. Goes for a quick trade there, trying to clear out the weight and get some poke down onto Meech. Ends up getting heavily punished for it. 100 Thieves going to be able to knock down this turret here on top side as well, with the couple grubs doing a little bit more extra damage to this turret. But we should be basically back to dead even as far as that gold goes. Nice Q from Ayla.
Yeah.
Knocks the Zac out of the air there.
Yeah, and I think because it's even, I want to know who you think has better scaling. So far, you've agreed with chat every time.
I think it's 100 Thieves has better scaling overall. Senna obviously scales really well. Zac scales really well. But I think that the combination of Milio, Aphelios, Orianna, plus 2 frontliners, if it's kind of a standard fight, I do think they have better scaling. I also think they have a lot of answers to the hard engage over on the other side. Castle and Armao are both really going to struggle, both to Ayla, as we just saw you can answer with the Q, also to Poppy rejecting you on these engages as well. So I do think you have to favor 100 Thieves in kind of a standard fight.
Yeah, I think it's hard for Senna TK to kill the tanks.
It's really hard. You have double lethality as well, right? And there's going to be so much stacked armor. Like, yes, we did see a Koenig Rookern as the rush for Sniper to answer the Zac, but I think we're mostly going to see armor after that. Poppy's going towards Frozen Heart. We have that Iceborne Gauntlet done for Sniper, and I think we're just going to see more and more armor stacked up between these two.
It's super tough for the backline of Immortals, as you already pointed out. With lethality, it's great in burst damage against squishies, but against tanks, you do not have the sustained
They have 4,000 HP and a bunch of armor. It's tough.
And just so we're clear, even if we all convince ourselves that we're right by saying 100 Thieves, if they lose the game, they did not have better skill. That means we're wrong.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's just how the internet works. Like, if Immortals wins despite having worse scaling, they actually didn't win despite having worse scaling. They just had better scaling.
Oh, so it's always a draft if is what you're telling me.
That's usually how it goes.
There's no execution in League of Legends.
Yeah, the answer to this will
so the
be
only
decided by whose
reason
Nexus dies.
that Jayce would beat me in top lane is because he had better scaling.
That's usually why.
That's usually the case.
Damn.
There you go. Only difference between me and T1, better drafting on
Better
T1.
scaling.
Yeah. I guess I just need a little bit better coach. And it could be me that's the world champion in League of Legends. Wow. That's good to know. Thank you. I appreciate that,
I mean,
Jatt.
when you became a literal world champion, didn't you have a better coach?
Better scaling. Yeah, I was coaching my own team, so there you go.
Oh, damn.
Better scaling.
So you should coach a team then.
True, I should coach myself. All right, well, this one pretty damn even. 200 gold separating the teams. One dragon apiece. And yeah, we have to see, you know, what the plan is here for Immortals. I do feel like they're struggling a little bit on what they want to do to push the game forward. I think that 100 Thieves are very clear that they are happy just kind of farming this one out. They seem to believe that they are going to be winning in the late game. And I feel like Immortals is playing with a little bit more urgency. They're grouped up a lot more. They're looking for these engages. But I think it's going to be tough to find.
And urgency is the correct word here. Armao just throws himself in there, but the engage is completely stuffed by 100 Thieves. Castle's the next one to try to get in there. Tries to go for the left bounce right on the all Meech, but the kiting is just immaculate from 100 Thieves. Castle finds one on the river, but the rest of the backline from 100 Thieves is just safe and sound. Meanwhile, Mask, Tactical, and Olleh got completely pushed off by Sniper, and the rest of 100 Thieves are ready for the re-engage and looking for the charge. As the rest of 100 Immortals, they back off.
Yeah, and that was just an overforce, I think, from Armao. Armao goes in, they just turn it around on him, he gets burst down, the Breath of Life is there for Eyla, they have all these tools to be able to turn around the fights. Quid never even used the Shockwave, he's had that available the entire time, so Immortals couldn't even commit in after that, and now gets the kill even with the flash. What was that burn damage? Was that something like a proc or something? Was that Storm Surge? Or I'm not even sure if that was Leandry's or what that was, maybe an Airy? Oh, it must have been Luden's proc or Leandry's, because he has both those. So it had to be
one of those.
Had to be some sort of item damage that killed him, because he definitely flashed the Shockwave. He didn't get hit by the Shockwave. But the damage follows, he gets the kill. Nicely done. 100 Thieves looking like they're in control.
That feels bad. And we'll take a look back at the replay once again. As you pointed out, Armao feels the urgency to do something, goes in, and it just
But look at where Mask is. Look at where Mask is. He's so far away, and it's like by the time Mask is in range for a max range shot blast, Armao is already dead. And then you have Sniper on the bottom with Quid. They're pairing up, and Sniper just goes and he just runs a tactical. This is all you have to do against lethality carries when you are the tank. He's running at these two carries. They're completely zoned out. If Tactical and Mask can't hit and they're just walking at Sniper and having to deal with him, guess what? Quid and Meech are going to crush you in the fight. They're going to kill your front line way faster. So Sniper playing this out well, playing to that win condition. And we can watch this one more time, see if it was in fact that item damage that did get the kill here on Tactical. As Tactical steps forward, Quid is positioning aggressively. QW, it looks like Luden's, yet the burn from Leandry's is that last little tick. As that Luden's companion proc and that tiny bit of burn damage was enough. A frustrating death there from Tactical. The TP's now coming in here.
Both top laners show up in the mid lane. And it's a standoff from 100 Thieves and Immortals. There's no Dragon quite available, as looks like 100 Thieves just took it off the back end, but Baron is still an objective that both teams have to fight for. At the moment, Vision is partly on Immortals' side, but they only have a little bit from their own river entrance. They don't really have further beyond that towards 100 Thieves jungle.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're gonna have to see, you know, if Immortals can get creative. You know, they have to find these engages. They have to be explosive about it, because if you are too obvious, you're always gonna get rejected by Poppy or Milio or whoever. But at the same time, your whole team has to be ready for when you go, right? And if you look for this long-range flash engage and your team can't actually follow up, it's just gonna be to your own detriment. Castle now is gonna be spotted as Quid is pushing in. 100 Thieves who are pushing up through mid, pushing in through bot, gonna move in and try to steal away some of these camps and look to threaten that tier 2. Immortals trying to rotate over, and it will be secured there by Armao, which is nice.
I mean, he's charging in. Castle was looking as well for the engage. Armao forces it right on top of Meech. but he's pelted away as Meech is just able to kite safely thanks to the cozy campfire, as Castle is still fighting with River, but Castle's taking way more damage than River is, and he just goes down.
Yeah, and it's the W from Poppy. Armao tries to go for the RW, immediately rejected there. So Meech is just standing and firing, and now this shockwave is going to force them back here. Sniper looking to threaten on the side, but River's very low.
The River is almost down, but the Breath of Life gives him a little bit of extra HP. Olleh forced to use the ultimate to save Armao, and Immortals are just pinned under this turret. They want to be able to punish 100 Thieves members because most of them have HP bars that they can punish.
Oh, that's...
But they just cannot get on top of them.
Yeah, that shock blast did a lot of damage, but couldn't quite finish him off.
I'm seeing a lot of Armao chatter in chat as well. He seems to be a protagonist of this stage of the game. What are your thoughts specifically on what he can do?
I mean, you basically have to be the person who's finding that main engage. Zac is just too obvious, but the problem is there's so many ways to find that disengage, right? So I think really what you are looking to do is play around Flash, look for the Flash RW, try to find something explosive, play around Vision. If you can deny Vision, have them walk in, you'll be able to get that instant explosive engage. It can really work, but your team has to be there with you and instantly follow up, or it's going to be a disaster.
So to simplify, is he doing it good or not?
Not right now. Okay. I mean, his first engage was too far away from the team in mid lane, and I think without Flash, it's very difficult to actually be able to find the engage, right? And it's one of those things where when you're playing the person who has to engage and your team is behind, or you're against a team that has really good disengage, if it doesn't work, you look really bad because there's no fallback. You can't just sit and say, oh, well, Olleh's going to engage. No, it has to be you.
Not Armao.
Yeah. Once you're in, you don't have a way out. Kind of similar to whenever junglers pick Vi and then they feel like they're the ones that have to make the engage, otherwise they just lose the game. And sometimes you just have to go forward and accept that, you know, the KD is not going to be pretty. This might not look pretty, but if we don't try, or if we don't find the windows and just all go in at the same time, then we're not going to have a chance.
Exactly, right? It's just about playing percentages. I think, you know, a lot of the game can be kind of boiled down to that. You know, even if you're in a bad spot, if this engage, you know, is a 20-30% chance of working, but you think you have like a 10% chance of winning the game if you don't, well, that's good odds. You just tripled your chance to win the game, even if it's likely to fail. So I do think, you know, you have to play around that, play towards your win conditions. We'll see if they can find those windows. Because, you know, Zac just can't look for a max range slingshot. It's just not going to work if Poppy's there.
It's just way too
River's going to always...
Yeah.
I mean, Zac can find other ways to engage. I forget who I was talking with this about. I can't remember if it was Licorice. I feel like it might have been Licorice when he was on. I think he was someone was talking to me about how they were playing a lot of Zac top, and they started watching, you know, a Zac one trick, a challenger Zac one trick, and he was saying that, you know, he had kind of thought initially that you always need to be looking for these last slingshots, but he realized after watching this challenger one trick Zac, a lot of times he was just trying to run up and queue a minion, then flash auto and start fights out that way if there was teams with good disengage.
Yeah. I think it was actually Meteos on the dot.
Oh, it might have been Meteos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you guys were...
But you're right. It totally was Meteos. My bad, Meteos.
It's okay, Will. I got your back. Anyway, Immortals, it looks like someone just burned a flash. I think it was Eyla, as Armao just walked up, looked for that Shattering Strike. So Eyla is now down to Summoner's Spell for this next fight, but still, he's not the prime target. The Sniper is now looping around. Good ward defensive from Immortals. It's going to spot out the top laner from 100 Thieves. He's waiting in this bush. He's going to give up this
These shock blasts are hurting, I will say. You know, if you can keep threading the needle on these and hit these key targets, it can make a big difference.
Yeah, Zeralto also had a really good point in the Reddit live thread that the Poppy W is a great counter to Zac and Rell. I know you've been talking about it,
I have.
But I just know the community is also in your favor, so watch the Poppy W.
Armao immediately goes for the ultimate in the flash. The Shockwave pulls him back in, but Olleh saves him. Keeps him alive with his ultimate. They turn right back on the Sniper. Castle is the sole diver into the middle of all 5 members of 100 Thieves. As now this passive is not going to get great use out of it. They cannot survive and keep Castle alive. This Dragon's going to go over to 100 Thieves.
Yeah, nicely done by 100 Thieves. Again, able to absorb that engage. This one I actually think was a pretty reasonable try on the engage, but the flashes are there from the 100 Thieves carries, and they were equal to the task. They reacted in time. Quid flashes out. Meech both flash and ghost immediately. So they do force those, but at the end of the day, still, they can't follow up. It's so difficult for Tactical and Mass to follow up. That is the problem here when you are playing this composition that can't actually punch through the front line. And on the other side, they can. Orianna, as well as Aphelios, can crush your frontliners. But the Senna, as well as the Jayce, are not going to be able to deal with this Bramblevest Tabby's Iceborne top laner that's just kind of running at you.
Sniper's just way too tanky, and they do not have the damage spread to adequately deal with him, as you already talked about. So it just seems like Castle, he can survive for a long time in the back line of 100 Thieves, but then eventually he goes down, whereas Sniper...
You'll always lose the tank race.
It's just a giant iron wall. He just does not go down. And for Immortals, this is a big problem now because these standard front-to-back fights are not doing them any favors. It seems like it's going to come down to how many Shock Blasts can you land before the objective setup.
But even that is really difficult. You know, if they're grouped up, you have to not only land it, but you have to get it past Sniper, past River, and hope that Eyla doesn't shield it, that Orianna doesn't shield it up, right? Because that is going to mitigate quite a lot of it. You can also see that the Void Staff is done now for Quid. It's kind of rare that you see Void Staff these days. It almost always feels like it's Crypt Bloom, but Void Staff done, working towards that death cap. When he gets there, it's kind of lights out. Meech as well, just now picking up that last Whisper. So he is really getting towards that 3-item spike that is massive for these late game scaling carries. It is going to make it that much easier for them to get through the front line, and they're already doing a better job of it. So you have to look to the X Factor, you have to look to the engage over on Immortal side. They can't really play that heavily through sides unless it's going to be Jayce. But Jayce is the only one that feels like getting anything done when they're grouped up as well, so it's a little bit difficult. Like, you could try to send Jayce out to a side lane and try to have someone shadow him, try to find a 1v2 or something like that. But Zac is not going to really get enough kill pressure to be that side laner, and no one else can really do it on the squad.
Yeah. And to scale the game back to the beginning of the game when we were looking at Castle and Sniper, two top laners, rookies in their season of 2024, they had to go up against some of the most experienced top laners in the league before this matchup. And we didn't really get to see that story really play out in the laning phase. But in these team fights, I mean, Castle's doing everything he can, but Sniper has done such a great job of just being able to soak up as much damage as we can. We might, you know, look over and be like, oh, that's just what tanks do. But Sniper has done a great job of growing up in this league so far.
Double TP.
As now River goes in with his Keeper's Verdict, 3-man knockup. He's instantly out. Breath of Life keeps him alive as Armao is now pinned in the middle of multiple 100 Thieves members. Olleh keeps him alive once again, but Sniper is now on the charge, looking for the re-engage. As 100 Thieves are postured, looking for Mass. Shockwave, multiple bounce houses. Mass is just obliterated by the members of 100 Thieves. Olleh is out as he gets out over the wall, flashing as well. Castle might be next. Nice knockup from Sniper. The ledge bounce keeps him alive as he sustains through the wall. The damage is just not enough, though, Azael, as 100 Thieves take out 2.
That is tough. You see the power of Zac there. No AP items built up. That's pure tank. It really was putting some pressure there on Meech, but no one could follow up. No one was there to get anything done with him. Mask was already dead. Again, Sniper really putting the pressure on them, and now Immortals are faced with the task of trying to stop this Baron.
9,000 HP. Armao, it's so difficult for him to get in. He also has Flash, but it just seems so risky for Immortals to risk any of their lives to look for this objective. 100 Thieves walk away with the Baron, and at 30 minutes into the game, they find themselves, it's still a 3,000 gold lead, but it still surely seems like they are favored to win.
Yeah, exactly. It is feeling more and more like the scaling is in their favor. This was a great initial engage here from River. Gets that pop-up on multiple members with the ulti, and then in comes Sniper. And again, Sniper's job is really just marking Mask and Tactical, making it so they can't hit anyone but him. But I will say the poke actually landed pretty well on the 100 Thieves backline. It did start getting a little bit dicey, but as soon as Mask goes down, it is so tough. And Eyla, again, on point with that Q, knocks back the Zac out of the air. It's going to be so frustrating for Castle, trying to play in vision, trying to find these angles. And you can see the power that he has here. Almost kills River, almost kills Meech, but just doesn't quite have it.
Yeah, a couple of people are saying Zac's so useless because they look at 0-6. It looked fairly useful. It's just a bit of a draft gap against him. Like the fact that Eyla can just knock him back with spells, the fact that River can stop him from jumping in, and the fact that they don't really have good follow-up damage is hurting it. But you can see, I can see why so many people are picking it, even though it's 0-6.
I mean, the other thing, too, is that Castle is the only diver that is in the backline of 100 Thieves in most of these fights that we've seen. If you have Mask in there that is able to flank with you at the same time, then maybe you get something done. But 1v4, you're not going to get much done.
I'd also say if you swap the carries and there's Orianna and Aphelios on his team, then he would be going into the back line and he'd be doing the same thing Cassante would doing, right? Because the lethality carries wouldn't be able to get through him. So I do think that is part of the big difference here, is that there's great answers for the engage. And there's also, you know, just not good answers to actually kill off the tanks on their team. So, you know, he dives in the back line, Sniper dives in the back line. Sniper can't die to these lethality carries.
Yeah, cheeky Sniper Q3 that forced the Olleh ultimate as Armao goes in once again. Breath of Life gives everyone the CC cleanse, as the Shockwave does not really connect, but Sniper's the front line that just allows 100 Thieves to do whatever they please in the base of Immortals, as they've already lost 2 members here. Zac goes down, Olleh's next. Sniper just looking for another knockup as well. Oh, maybe Tactical's able to look for a trade onto Eyla at least, but the damage just seems overwhelmingly in Meech's favor. He flashes in, looks for the triple. It's now Mask 1v3. The Nexus Tower stands, but it later falls as 100 Thieves fell, 100 Immortals. Oh my goodness, what a banger game.
Outscaled.
Scale is just, yep, it's all just a scaling dip. There you go. 3 wins now here for 100 Thieves. They move to 3-3, tied now with Cloud9 in the standings here. Not something you would have been thinking about this point in the season. A strong game from them. I think really doing a good job of answering the game plan that Immortals had. They were great on the denials of the engages. A lot of credit deserved, I think, by River and also by Eyla. Eyla had such good cues on the Milio, was constantly knocking the Zac out of the air, constantly denying those engages, not only with the Qs, but also having the breath of life, really had good positioning, never got caught in the engage himself, was always close enough to be able to respond with the ulti to cleanse and get his teammates out of there. So they really just kind of played towards their win conditions, did what they needed to do. They didn't need to be the team that was hyper proactive because they had the scaling advantage on their side. They could deal with the enemy's front line, but unfortunately for Immortals, they could not. You're playing double lethality AD carry essentially. I mean, Jayce isn't really an AD carry, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Double
lethality AD carries, and they're not really able to get through Sniper. So it was very tough, I think, for them to play it out. But at the end of the day, close game, 100 Thieves win.
I just have to say, this has been a crazy first half of the season so far. The teams are so scrappy with each other, and everyone in the standings is so far different from where we would imagine them. But with the end of the game, we're going to take a look at our Pagoda Egg Rolls Let 'em Cook replay featuring Sniper from 100 Thieves.
All right, let's see what he cooked up here. Sniper, this was that earlier re-engage here as he goes in, finds the angle to actually get that first kill. And Sniper, you know, isolating the Zac, obviously, pulling him over with the ulti, playing this out really, really well, kiting back, using the Q3, knocks in Mask, stays alive. Sniper playing it out well, and I've got to say, there was really high expectations for this guy coming in from the community, but almost all the pros I've heard to were talking, he's not that good, we don't really expect that much. I think he's outperforming what people's expectations were, at least according to what I've heard from pros.
Even his brother Viper's expectations too. When he first came in on his first day, he's like, you know, before Scrim started, I was like, he's gonna really struggle against all the other top laners. But then once the Scrim results started coming in, he was like, wait, he can actually, you know, tango with these guys. But that's
Was Jatt ever really here?
I don't know.
There's been no video evidence.
We'll let you decide, chat. We're heading over to the LCS Lounge where production's gonna try to stump our loungers.
I've been here the whole time.
Yeah,
I was never up at the desk.
Yeah,
That's the real twist.
Oh my God, I didn't even know when you got in here. It's time for another secret exam. We've only got 2 minutes to complete it, and you're at the board.
I'm at the board because I've been elected because apparently I have the neatest handwriting.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't look at my handwriting.
Give us the timer. Let's get into the
only reason why I'm
quiz.
here. I have no idea what's going on. FBI and Huhi are currently tied for most LCS games played as a bot lane duo with 207 games played together. Can you name the other 4 bot lane duos in the top 5?
Okay.
Oh.
Apollo Hakuho. That's
Yeah, easily Apollo
Yeah.
Haku.
I heard correct.
Yes.
I heard correct too. I'm not really sure where I'm supposed to be writing.
I mean, let's double if Biofrost.
What about double if core?
Double if core is incorrect,
Well,
but it's double
I
if...
said double if Biofrost. I didn't hear
Yeah.
that was incorrect. Do it.
I
Also
wanna
incorrect.
Also
Oh,
guess
so we're
it.
actually getting the incorrect answers. This is great. So we
Yes.
already-
Okay.
I feel
So
like he
Apollo-
probably shouldn't be telling us.
Apollo, Hakuho are somewhere
Yeah.
around here.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't have to be in order, just
let's,
throw it
let's
up.
write them down.
All right.
We have 1:30 left.
Okay, let's...
Oh,
Oh
God.
my God, Emily!
Nice.
Neatest
What
handwriting.
happened to your handwriting?
They're trolling
Yeah.
me.
Jeez. Okay. So it wasn't the 2 double lift lanes.
Damn, who has been playing consistently?
Who
So
was in like the
Sneaky has played forever. What support did Sneaky play with the most? And what
Azael?
support did they play? So who was playing a lot in 2016 when we did double round
Yeah,
robin?
that's what I was trying to think. Is best of 3 era.
Yeah. Oh, we suck at this.
What about double lift and Aphelios?
Oh yeah. Incorrect.
Aphelios is half of one of the
They're
lanes.
helping us.
Aphelios and someone else?
Afro played more with someone else than he did with double lift. That's wild.
Stixe and Aphelios.
Six A. Okay.
You said correct before I even said it too. He just knew.
He knew. Okay, so we need 2 more in 40 seconds.
Okay, we can do this.
We just got to start
I feel
throwing
like,
out names.
Wouldn't Wild Turtle be one of them?
Wild
You
Turtle.
think?
Yeah. Okay, that's an
wow.
incorrect. Sneaky is in the next 2.
Okay, we just got a pair of Sneaky supports. We're cheating. Lemon Nation.
Yeah, Sneaky Lemonation.
Okay.
Is that correct? It's correct.
So elimination, who do you have after elimination? So we had high afterwards, which wasn't going to be it.
No.
I'm going to say Azael again just in case. Okay, that's an incorrect.
We're going to get this eventually.
Snooki.
Sneaky and...
Who else is he?
I put, I'm not writing out elimination.
Wow.
This stylus isn't that great. Sneaky and...
He's a...
Smoothie!
Smoothie!
Oh my God, our producer was helping
About
us all.
100 hints, we nailed it.
Yeah, you know what?
Our producer helped us significantly with
Good
this.
job, guys. All around applause.
Wow.
Oh my God, let's see all the games that they played there.
All right, here. I'll clear
that
the
a little
screen
bit.
so you
Okay,
can
they
actually
did that
see
for
it,
us.
yeah.
So FBI Hui and Apollo Haku are tied. So tomorrow, that's going to be first all time.
That's insane.
That's a nice little
wow.
tie-in.
That's insane.
That's
Wait,
nuts.
is that counting the game that's about to be played by FBI and Huhi? It's not, so this is going to be the game
Wow.
that
So this
breaks
is
the
game-
record.
Yeah, this is the game where they take over.
Great job, producers. That was excellent. That was excellent. I'm glad that we ended up doing that. So now it sets up the next matchup. The next matchup is going to be Shopify Rebellion versus NRG. We're going to be going to a break.
They're going to break the record. Calling it now.
Wow.
What a surprise.
Dude, why'd you put your new rig in the basement?
Didn't you hear? Bill's a gagillionaire now.
Basically, my new connection is so strong I can game anywhere. Check it out. We've got Gamer Rocker, Gamer Floaty, Gamer Couch,
Whoa.
It's got wheels.
Gamer Bench, Gamer Throne, and Gamer Mower.
What's that?
It's hard to game while walking downstairs.
I get it.
That's smart.
Live like a gagillionaire with low latency everywhere. AT&T Fiber with All-Fi.
Red Bull gives you wings.